Daniel? Come on up, buddy. Shabbat shalom. All right. So I got this stuff in the right place. Yeah, I'm gonna stop you.
And there's no other spot. There's only one stop, right?
There's one stop, two stops, and then the end. Come here, meet Rabbi Danny. Hey, Danny. Do you have a sit around? You do that. You don't have a pen here? Yep. All right, buddy. Let's see. I think we're gonna go, man. at Molly? Where does she live?
They live in Cambridge.
Okay. So we'll give her a shout out, right? She's watching the show, right?
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. I'm wondering if you can say Shabbat Shalom when, there's a thunderstorm going on. It's like not so shalomy out there, but it is in here. And I'm glad we're all inside. So, we call this building, actually, this synagogue building, Augie knows this, a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. And sometimes it really feels like a shelter, right? Holding us all, and holding the holiness, and holding these moments that we're about to share together, courtesy of Augie, who is a wonderful young man who I think some of you are looking and can't even believe it, knowing him his whole life, or much of his life, and here he is on the bima, ready to help lead us in prayer and chant from the Torah and teach us really an incredible and timely lesson. So all that is to come. So all we need to do is make sure that we sing and participate and enjoy and renew our souls, which is the promise of Shabbat. And so on page 2 of the Siddur that Augie and his family put together, the very first prayer that when we officially start the service in the morning is a prayer called Modeh Ani, Moda Ani. And it just means I am grateful, which sounds kind of simple, but I think all of us know not to count our blessings, to remind ourselves what we're thankful for. There is so much out there in our lives and in the world that is challenging. And so we have to really, really bask in those moments like this one that are really good and really holy. And so whatever it is you're thankful for right now, including being here with Augie and his family and our congregation, invite you to hum along, sing along. This prayer is our prayer of awakening and gratitude upon awakening. Modeh Ani. Augie, one of the traditions, one of the mitzvahs, is that when you're part of leading a service, you can wear the talit, the prayer shawl that has the fringes that remind us of all the sacred deeds and traditions and ways that we can be part of making the world a better place. And so because you are standing up here about to become a bar mitzvah, we want you too to wear a talit. Anyone is free to wear one, but you are key here in this service, so it's really an honor to ask your wonderful parents to come up and present you with a talit and that you're going to wear during the rest of the service. That's it. Do you want to say anything about it? No, you want to see it? Okay. So stay up here, though. It's beautiful and looks like a scene from Jerusalem, and the blessing that you're about to read for the mitzvah of wearing the talit and the fringes is right there on your shoulders. So right here, Augie, in the bottom of page 2, the blessing for wearing the talis.
Baruch atah Adonai, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen. Turn around, get it from your folks. They're going to sit down again. So. Moving on to page 3, these next 2 songs, prayers, are all about reminding ourselves how good it is to be together, and something we don't take for granted, for sure. Because of the pandemic, this building was literally closed for a year and a half. We reopened in the fall and are doing so really consciously, wanting to make sure we do everything we can to keep each other and the city and everywhere safe. But it is really good to be together in person. I think we all feel that, whether you're here all the time or this is your very first time here. There's something about the warmth and the comfort and the connection about gathering together for a holy and good reason. And so it says, Ma tovu, how good, and hine ma tov, it is good when we gather together. That is those of us here, and I also know there are people watching from near and far, just to be part of a Shabbat service, but also people tune in for Augie. I know your Aunt Molly and family is in Cambridge, watching you with lots of love and pride, sending their prayers and vibes through the screen somehow. And so we're adding everybody's spirit to the mix here. And so on page 3, how good it is when we, a group of brothers and sisters, family and friends, were able to sit together in peace and harmony for a sacred occasion.
tov, hine ma tov, yadadadadadadadadai, hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad,
Please chant together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzalmo. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has created me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben horin. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokei ach ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who provides clothes for the needy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ya'ef koach. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher hechi mitzvah begaver. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who guides the steps of human beings. Amen. On the next page, on page 5, there's a series of passages from the book of Psalms to Tehillim. The Psalms sort of convey 150 Psalms in all in the Bible. They convey the range of human emotion from very difficult and sad times to joyful times. So I think what I'd like to do is just focus on that last Psalm, the one that says hallelujah over and over. And let's see if we can, this is what you're supposed to do, really kind of sing out and move the molecules around and make sure there's a good energy in here, even better than it already is. Maybe we can even kind of, part of the Psalms is how we mimic nature. So maybe we can make, a joyful noise mimicking the thunder, kind of really. So I invite you to stand up if you want. You can clap your hands and sing out with Rabbi Daniel and Andrew and Leslie, our wonderful crew of musicians. And again, hallelujah, a term we all know. It actually is a Hebrew term originally, and it just means praise be all that is good and high and holy in the universe. Praise Yah, hallelujah. So again, it's kind of a moment of getting your spilkies out and making some noise and singing.
Please be seated.
Perfect. And you ready for this? Page 6. 1, 2, 3. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba ve'oma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'meru amen Yehei shmei Rabba mivorach Le'olam Omei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroma V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yithaleh V'yithalal Shemei D'Kudesha B'richu Le'elam Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Dahamiran Be'alma V'meru, amen.
Look for a way to lift someone up, and if that's all you do, that's enough. Please rise as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch
We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, Kulam bechokma asita, mala haaretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shavach ma'aseh yadecha. Ve'al mo'arei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'morot. Together, you create
Light and darkness, the possibility of peace within a warring world. All forms and creatures who acknowledge their only common bond in you. You open daily the gates of the east, cleave the windows of the sky, bring forth the sun from its place, the moon from its abode. The sky, the sun, the moon are far from us, yet their Creator created us, and so their world is ours, their light is ours. Though we must often gather up their light from the dark places where it has fallen, bring forth their light, that ours may shine anew. You who have created light are praised.
Love is our essential nutrient. Without it, life has little meaning. It's the best thing we have to give and the most valuable thing we receive. It's worth all the hullabaloo.
Yeah. It's always good to have a bar mitzvah that has the word hullabaloo in it. I'm in favor of hullabaloos. And on page 10, our prayer celebrating divine love.
true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Together you shall love
Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand. Let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am your God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God.
I know that we are a people who have crossed many seas. In every service, we remember that the price of freedom is often great as we sing the same words that our ancestors sang after crossing from slavery to freedom at the shores of another sea.
Bakodesh, mi kamocha, Bayalim Adonai, mi kamocha, Neda Bakodesh, Torah Tehilot, Osefide, Nora Tehilot, Osefide. Israel, deel van de Mekka, Jehoen van Israël. Go Aleinu Adonai Savaot Shemo, kadosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Gad Yisrael. Habakkuk yen cuencos, Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos, Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos, Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos, Sia Hamba, Sia Hamba, Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos, Sia Hamba, Sia Hamba. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. In the light of God, Milchamo Chapaya Lima Adonai, Milchamoka Neda Bakodesh, Milchamo Chapaya Lima Adonai, Milchamoka Neda Bakodesh.
Please rise. Walking, I am listening to a deeper way. Suddenly, all of my ancestors are behind me. Be still, they say. Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands.
That is stunning. You know, I think we can all just picture that and feel that as we sing about what it means to not only be in a sanctuary, but to be sanctuary for ourselves and for others.
Adonai, Sifetai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifetai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid. Adonai, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Yitzchak Urfi Hagi Tegilatecha
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zoher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, l'ma'an shemo b'ahava, melech ozir u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah.
Together, you are
Praise Adonai, God to each of us, God to our grandfathers, to the grandmothers of their grandmothers, God to Abraham, to Isaac, to Sarah, to Rebekah, to Jacob, to Rachel, to Leah. God, great and mighty, higher than our minds can climb. Ancient source of kindness, warming the new cold corners of our life. Their faded deeds have not turned cold for you. For you, Abraham and Isaac are walked this morning. Sarah is laughing in fulfillment, even as we pray. For their sake, you are bringing closer someone who will round the corners of our too narrow lives, to break the chains that keep us from a godly love. As you remember them, remember us as well. Joyful monarch, for whom life is your delight, say l'chaim to us. Protector of Sarah, shield of Abraham, shield us not from life, yet, as we search your way in life's cold treachery and icy indifference, God of our grandmothers, keep us warm.
Atagi Borlelam Adonai, Mekayeha Ko Atavri Leoshia.
Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeha Ko Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofe Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memi, Umechaye, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'ne'aman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol.
You think you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent the night with a mosquito.
True enough, right? So this prayer on page 19 and 20 is called Kedusha. As you can see in the English translation in the parentheses, it literally means holiness. And so though I think we've all felt the holiness since we walked in here and started this service, this is a moment to really focus our attention on holiness and how we can be our best selves and how we fill the spaces between us with goodness, with Kedusha, with holiness.
Nekadesh Simcha Ba'olam Kishim Shakdashim Otom B'Shmei Marom Kakatuv Aya Nevi'echa V'Karaze El Sim Ve'yamar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Zevaot Meloch haaretz kevodo adir adirenu Adonai Adonenu madir simcha b'chol haaretz baruch kevod Adonai minkomo echadu Eloheinu Avinu Makenu Umoshienu Hemu Yashmienu Berachama Ve'enek Hochai Ani Adonai Elohechem הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושך להקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated.
We take a moment on Shabbos to let go a little bit. I think it's easier to feel just a part of the world when we have storms like this outside. Shabbos is a day when we don't think of ourselves as the masters of this world. We don't think of ourselves as the controllers of this world and its destiny. We see ourselves just as a part of this big spaceship we call Earth. As we see ourselves much more connected to nature, much more connected to the cycles and to the rhythms of the time around us. So we take a moment for this Shabbos, we take a moment to let go and just be with Vishamra.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
Together, be
Gracious,
gracious,
O God, to your people Israel, and receive their prayers with love. May the service of your people Israel be pleasing to you forever. You are near to all who seek your presence. Reveal yourself to us and have compassion upon us. May our eyes see your return to Zion in mercy. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who restores your Shekinah to Zion.
And the days that I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, I have really good days. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace.
And we could surely use it. Peace, shalom, wholeness, right in the streets of our city and all of our neighborhoods, certainly all the places that are torn apart by violence and hatred and war. Thinking certainly about Ukraine, we pray for peace in people's hearts who want to destroy and divide. All of that's part of the great shalom that we not only pray for, but we pray to remind us to be part of making more peace, bringing more compassion and kindness and holiness into our worlds. And the more there is shalom in our worlds, we hope and pray there's more shalom in the entire world. And so we sing Sim Shalom, to be peace, to bring peace, to place peace, to make sure that we are part of shalom and shalom makers.
Sim Shalom Tova Uracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha.
The high holidays there. I felt it. But we got time. We got time. You're everyone in for another treat, something really very special. I'll let Augie tell you about it.
During the silent meditation, we wanted to find a way to bring my grandfather, Steve Coburn, into this space. He loved folk music, and especially the banjo.
That's your cue. Sit down while your dad plays. Augie's dad, just so you know. A little bit more time before we start the Torah service. One more prayer for peace after that rousing. Now we've not only had a hullabaloo, but we've had a hootenanny, so that's a good deal. But on page 25 is one more prayer for peace. Can't have enough. Also on page 24, Augie has provided a passage from the wonderful Velveteen Rabbit. That's not the Velveteen Rabbi. It is actually the Velveteen Rabbit, an amazing story that's stood the test of time. So listen to the peace prayer, sing along, read the read the passage from the Velveteen Rabbit, another few moments that we can commune together in peace.
Oh, say shalom bimromav. Uya say shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael yimaru, v'yimaru.
Say shalom bimromav. Say shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, v'yimaru. Amen. Shalom, shalom, bimromav. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, v'yimaru. Amen. Shalom bimromav. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, v'yimaru.
Please rise.
Stand together as we begin this Torah service in a very wonderful way with Augie's sisters, Eliza and Olivia. This is your time. Come on up. Got to teach these guys in Wednesday school, right, this year. So you guys pick which door each should be in. Oh, looks like they've worked on it before. And you guys stay right here, but now I want to ask to join them, your Zadie, your grandma, and your Grammy, of course, your mom and dad, and then Rabbi Susan, Rabbi Daniel. We're going to crowd this space with lots of love and Torah. Zadie, come in. Mazel tov. You can go right next to and here, yeah, and I think that's exactly them.
Augie. You know, I remember when your sisters were first born. Before they came home, we had to learn how to hold them in a very special way. We had to hold you so that you could breathe, so that you could grow into the amazing young women that we see before us today. I also remember what it was to see your grandparents, your parents' parents, hold them under the chuppah as they were about to get married. And then I watched how with grace and with such profound love, they knew how to hold and to let go so that your parents could become the family that they are today that now hold you. I hope you can feel the arms that are holding you today, arms you've never met, arms that are a memory, arms that are still here to help you get through this next most challenging time of your life, being a teenager. Oh my God. You will change more from now until you're about to fly off on your own than you can ever imagine. And yet, what will remain constant is this holding. In a moment, you're going to hold the Torah. But I want to honor this amazing chain of tradition, this line of most remarkable grandparents and parents. And you know, Augie, they say that you pick your parents. You picked well. You really did. You know, I remember at your Grandpa Steve's memorial service, you know, he died at Purim, but we had his memorial service also during the Omer, during this time that now belongs to you. And I know you've done a lot of work to understand the importance of this time and especially the lessons of your portion. But your grandfather Steve is right here with us as well. And I remember during the gathering, actually, you got a little bored. I guess I did too. So we went outside and we blew bubbles together. I held you for a moment. It's a memory I'll always have, even if you've forgotten those bubble days. But I wanted to bring your grandfather here as your father did so perfectly with that music. Because it was during the Omer we spoke about love, the language of love. Anila dodi v'dodi li, I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. We couldn't help but speak those words, thinking about your grandmother and their grandfather and how profound their love was for each other. The hippie and the guy with the bow tie, how they came together and just sparks flew. But we also talked about how that kind of love sets you up for such hurt, because when you love that much, you belong to people. And when you lose them, it breaks you open. It breaks your heart, and you're never quite the same. And yet, you have seen in your life how even that kind of heartbreak can be turned into something of resistance, where you love more fully and even live more fiercely. We also quoted T.S. Eliot at your grandfather's memorial, who your grandfather loved, who said, "Love is only love when it is lived." We also quoted Emerson, who said, "The happiest man is he who learns from nature the lesson of worship." Did he know that this would be your portion? I think maybe he did, and I think maybe that is a lesson from your Grandpa Steve for us today. That this love of nature, and he did love nature, he loved being outside, is worship. It's worship. So this moment, this ritual of passing the Torah into your arms is love lived. It takes the lessons and lived love of your mother's people and your father's people, all extraordinary, each one devoted to making the world a more just, a more meaningful, and a more kind place for you and your sisters. So this, as you know, is a very special Torah. It comes from Czechoslovakia. It's one of these survivor Holocaust Torahs. It comes from the world where your Zadie has helped us to keep it alive through its language. Always so grateful for the work you've done. It's kept that people that they dared to take from us. It's kept their love language alive for us. These are the people you come from. This is the Torah you are about to hold. The people of Holosov, Czechoslovakia did not survive. But when we pass this Torah into your arms, it is not about the sorrow. It is not about the pain and the suffering. It is about the resistance. It's about remembering every bar mitzvah that this almost 164-year-old Torah saw before it saw the worst that humanity is capable of doing to each other. This Torah saw weddings. This Torah saw simchas. This Torah saw new life and babies being born. And so when we put this Torah into your arms from your mother's people, your father's people, this chain of tradition that I hope you can feel holding you, I hope you know now it's up to you to hold us, to add your voice, as I know you will so beautifully, to this tradition that we are going to keep going so that we can live love, live life fully, and live into a world that is just and equitable for all. So, into your grandmother's arms, who, I don't know, Augie, if you know, but your grandma held my daughter many times when she needed holding, to your grandfather again, who has given us so much, to your grandmother, showing up today for you guys, to your father, your beautiful mother, and into your arms, my dear, so that you can hold it up. There we go. And stand before us. And as a sign that you're going to hold it, Augie, yep. Yeah, you're holding? Good. Lead us in the words of the Shema. And if you would, put your books down and please join Augie and his family as he leads us in the Hakavot, the dance of joy that we believe the promise of peace it unfolds in the teachings of Torah.
You guys hear your name? Coco. Coco family. Kathy, Coco, come on up. You're the first Coco. ready yet, but almost. All right, Augie. So, Augie, tell everyone. Oh, they did it all. Wow. You guys did great. Augie was about to tell you to please be seated, but you kind of snuck it in. You seated yourselves. I'm impressed. So, want to kind of set up where we are. We've had the joyful hakafa, we call it, the circling, with Augie leading the procession with the Torah. I hope you were able to connect with him and connect with the Torah. And everyone's ready to sit and really do what Augie chanted, Shema, to really listen and learn, because Augie's going to kind of treat us to this Torah service. So if you want to follow along, on page 26 is the passage from the Torah portion, the Har, that Augie's going to be chanting. It's there in Hebrew and also an English translation. Want to also point out, you can show from the yad you're using, Augie. So the yad actually literally means hand, and it's also the word we use as the tool that we use to read from the Torah, so we're not touching it with our fingers and smudging it. So the yad comes in handy. That was a little pun, not a very good one. Not even Rabbi Daniel laughed, so.
I wish I was at the drum for a little,
That's, I could have gotten a rim shot, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving right along. But that yad I know was given to you by your tutor, by Golda. Golda was able to be. Her flight got stuck in New York. Oh, well, I know, luckily we're recording. I'm sure she's streaming at the airport, maybe, I don't know. Wow, Golda, I know, is a wonderful teacher, and you and Golda have worked together for a long, long, long time so that you could come to this point, to this moment, right in front of the Torah, rolled out in front of you and able to chant it and to teach it. So with that, I'm going to give Rabbi Daniel, and we're going to fill this moment with blessings.
So, Augie, we're going to start by calling up your Uncle Andrew and your cousins Ayana and Carly. Is that right?
Yep.
Rabbi Randa, you could have been a doctor with your handwriting.
Rabbi, you know what? You're not the first rabbi who said that to me.
Ya'amdu, Uncle Andrew, Adam Avraham, your cousins Ayana, Carly, Leah.
Whenever you guys are ready. I'm sure.
Here?
Yep, you can, yep. You just leave
Okay.
this little picture.
Write that on your count.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Baruch et Adonai Hambarak.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Should we start?
Should I go?
Yeah, you should go.
וידבר אל משה בכר סיני לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליכם כי תבואו אל הארץ אשר אני נותן לכם ושקבעה הארץ שבת לאדוני 6 שנים תזרע שדך ו6 שנים תזמור כרמך וספרת את תבואתה.
Beautiful. And the next page is the blessing. You got it? Follow me. Just flip the book over. Right there.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hei olam nata betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
And so we will, Augie, we're going to call up your parents and grandparents. So Ya'amdu, Rachel Simcha, Benjamin Ezra, Shalom Margalit, Karen.
That's right. Yeah. Right, right there's perfect. You can do that.
Oh.
Yeah, you're good. Come on, you guys. You got a lot of Bima time.
Full bima.
Is this the blessing before?
Yeah, let's just wait. Yeah, okay, ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvara.
Baruch Adonai habarak le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarak le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
See where you are?
Uvashana hashvei Shabbat Shabbato yikiela aret Shabbat ladonai sadeka lo tizra ve'karmeka lo tizmor et safiya kitirka lo tizor ve'etin ve'nizrecha lo tizor shanat Shabbato yikiela aret fayata Shabbat haaretz lechem leach lalo u'abdeka ve'le'amatecha ve'lisircha utosha hagarim ima.
All right, and then you guys on the next page, page 26, the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'ha'olam atah b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Oh wait,
Just hold on.
No.
We'll find it for you, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Right there.
Okay.
So we're going to call you up in a moment, but if you want to turn around and give these people behind you a little love and a hug and these sorts of things, we won't. And once you've hugged them, everyone else can head on down except for your folks, who are going to keep up here.
Everybody.
Just like emanates.
Thank you, it's amazing.
So Augie, now is when we call you up. This is the first time you're called up yourself to the Torah.
Okay.
And we hand this over to you. This is what it means to have faith, I think. To have faith that you are going to do better than we did. And I don't mean at reading the Torah, I mean at taking care of this world. So it is an honor to get to call you up for the very first time as a bar mitzvah. Ya'amod Aharon Yaakov ben Binyamin Ezra ve'Rachel Simcha le'aliyah bar mitzvah.
Velichem teka velakaya asher be'arseka tichye kol tevuata le'achol v'safarta lo shabbato shanim sheva pe'amim v'kayu lo yema sheva shabbatot hashanim tesha ve'arba'im shana ve'havarta shofar teruah bechodesh hashvi'i be'asor lechodesh b'yom Hakipurim taviru shofar bechol artechem.
Nice job. All right, Augie. The blessing after.
Do I do blessing after?
What's that? Yep. Yep.
Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam asher naton lana Torat emet v'hayeh olam nata b'totenu Baruch atah Adonai
Noten HaTorah. Nicely done. You guys can give him a hug. Augie, you guys can have a seat. Watch the rest of it from the front row. Augie, you've opened up our hearts with the reading of this Torah portion. Really amazing because it mirrors something that's happening right now. It talks about this counting of years, right, which you're going to tell us about, up to 49, and then the 50th year, which is a special year in the Torah. But we're right now in the midst of counting days, and the same amount, right? 49, and then the 50th day is special. The 50th day is Shavuot. So this is a period called the Omer, which really is these cycles, this rhythm of counting and then transformation and going from the desert to the mountain. And you've brought us to the mountain even 15 days early before Shavuot. on this 35th day of the Omer. So not only will you remember your Torah portion, I know, and the Shabbat where you became bar mitzvah, but also you'll remember, I hope, that it was the 35th day of the Omer, where we gathered together to hear you chant Torah and become bar mitzvah, and soon teach us Torah as well. So it's in all of this swirl of meaning that we want to make sure we introduce a healing prayer as the Torah is open to this portion that really wants to heal society, heal the earth even. So we pay attention to the people in our lives that could use healing, people that might be here amongst us. If you need some healing, we're sending this prayer to you. But think about the people in your lives who could use the benefit of the ruach, the spirit, the koach, the strength of this service that Augie's leading. Think about people who you don't even know, who might be suffering and ill and lonely and mourning. We can try to encompass it and embrace it all. And we do so in the service with our healing prayer, which is on page 27. It's called Mishaberach, the prayer that those who came before us, we acknowledge we're blessed, and we hope and pray for blessings for us and those we love and everyone who could use refuah shlema, complete healing. So think about the people. I do know we're always kind of keeping people in our prayers. We're thinking about Becky's niece, Becky, who actually helped put together your Siddur, Augie. You guys worked with Becky. Her Hebrew name is Penina Bat Devora. Bill Weiner, a cousin of our member Mark Weiner. We're praying for you, Autumn, for your upcoming surgery. We know you're going to have a refuah shlema. You're here on our healing list as you stream this service out. For Michael Davenport, who I know is home watching, and his sister, Charlie Sarakis. And Autumn, any healing prayer names from the stream? I'm going to take that as not yet. But we're thinking about all of you that are watching.
Yes, we have a prayer from Andy Kurtz. It's praying for her Aunt Karen.
For Aunt Karen? Thank you. So we think about them all. We sing the prayer with Andrew and Leslie and Rabbi Daniel for healing, for refuah shlema. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We know your mom very well, and we hope that she has a quick recovery. It is a tough time, right? But we know we're learning so well how to take care of each other, and I know your mom is well taken care of. So thank you for that, for Claire, but also for everyone who's struggling with COVID. Yes. Yeah. Your dad's surgery. Thinking about him and sending you prayers. Thank you. It's good to see you too. And give our love to your family. So, all those people. Yes.
Aunt Molly.
Yes, Aunt Molly from Brookline. Yeah, watching from her. We're thinking about her for sure, and her family. Sorry they couldn't be here, but hopefully she'll heal and recover and watch the bar mitzvah and celebrate with all of you. So. Yes, Larry. Oh, for refuah shlema, thank you.
And Chris from East.
Bear Robinson. Steve. For Roger Goldman. Tell him we were thinking of him. He's doing okay? Just, yeah, all right, for Roger. Thank you for bringing his name.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor abracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Page 28, there's one more part of this prayer that we call the Chatimah, which literally means signature or seal. So we hope to seal this prayer. Think about all those names of all those people. When we're thinking about them, we hope they feel our thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery and for healing. And let's read that last part together where it says, Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed is the Holy One who teaches us ways to be healers, to be healing presences for all those who need healing. We say of mind, body, and spirit. Amen. Cover. Yeah, you can bring that back. Yeah. All right. So I guess the next words are, but wait, there's more, right? Because every Torah portion has an accompanying half-Torah portion, which comes from the books of Nevi'im, the prophets. And they were carefully chosen, these passages, to match thematically with the Torah portion. So the Haftorah for Bahar comes from the prophet Jeremiah, always an interesting prophet to study and to read, very direct and often upset, but with good cause. There was a lot to be upset about then, like there's unfortunately a lot to be upset about now in the world. So Augie is going to bring the words of the prophet into this service, starting on page 28 with the blessing before the Haftorah, and then the Haftorah itself, which is also on page 28, and then the blessing after, which you'll find on page 29. So whenever you're ready, Augie.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher pachar Beinfeld tovim v'retzah b'dibrehem Ne'emarim behemet. Baruch atah Adonai haboker b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'ma Yisrael amo u'b'nve'er ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayomer v'yirmahu hi advar Adonai Eli lemor. Hine hanam el ben shalom dodeka ba elecha lemor kene la et sadi asher beyanatod ki lecha mishpa'a geula lignod. Vayavo Eli hanam el ben dodi ki dvar Adonai el chatzer hamatzara. Vayomer Eli kine na et sadi asher beyanatod asher be'eretz binyamin ki lecha mishpa'a hageusha la hageula kine la vayada kivar devar Adonai hu.
Oh, good job. And then the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sor kol ha'olamim Zadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman Vayomer ve'oseh hamzaber u'mkayim shekol devara emet v'sedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'bodah ve'al ha'inve'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Elokeinu likdusha ve'linucha lekavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Elokeinu anachnu modim la barokim ota yiparasim kabefi koltai tamid le'olam voseh Baruch atah mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Water.
Yes, sir.
So, now we get to put our books down again, but this time not to dance, but to sim lev, to pay attention, to put your heart into the words that Augie has crafted to teach about this most significant and lofty Torah portion that's called On the Mountain, Behar. So imagine that you're hearing these words from the mountaintop because they do really fit that scene. So Augie's teaching. Yeah.
My Torah portion, Parashat Bahar, focuses on the laws of the sabbatical year and Jubilee year. These are ancient laws, but the themes of caring for the environment and caring for others are very relevant today. The concept of the sabbatical year is that the land must have a rest every 7 years. So for 6 years, the Jewish people can farm and gather crops, but in the 7th year, the land needs complete rest. In the 7th year, you eat what you have already grown. Parashat Bahar tells us it's not our land. God says it's my land, and you need to care for it. The land also needs a chance to regenerate so that it can continue to feed future generations. The Jubilee year is also based on the number 7. So after 7 cycles of 7 years, the Jubilee happens. The law says that every 50 years, all land will be returned to its original owner and all slaves will be freed. Returning land to its original owners was a way to make sure that the wealth did not only stay with a small number of people forever. The Jubilee year is kind of like the end of a Monopoly game. Usually one person has most of the houses and hotels, and another person has most of the money. But at the end of the game, it all goes back to being even. No matter how much wealth or property 1 or 2 people have gained, it is all reset, and the poor now have the same opportunity as the rich. My understanding of this Torah portion is that it's our obligation to take care of the world God created, that we don't just keep taking and taking. We need to do the right thing for each other and for the earth. Thinking about how we live today made me wonder if we could improve our world and help those who are struggling by taking just enough. What if we took just what we need instead of taking what we want? How do we give the land, our climate, and even our minds and bodies a rest so that they can regenerate? There are lots of ways we can use less without much sacrifice to the way we live our lives. Our society is built to make it very easy for those of us who have already taken a lot to take even more. We have so many options of where to buy and what to buy. We can get anything we want at almost any time of day, but it really comes at a cost. A lot of people just buy things for fun. It's something to do. But if we're going to reduce how much we consume, we need to be aware and ask ourselves, do I really need this? We live in a world now where we throw things away after using something once or because we don't like it anymore. We need to find more ways to make things last longer so we're using less. Let's start with something simple. Plastic water bottles. When my parents were kids, there were no plastic water bottles. Maybe they weren't as hydrated as kids in my generation, but they were okay. And the planet was healthier. So it's not impossible to imagine a world without water bottles everywhere. Many plastic products like bags and food wrappers are only used for minutes, but they might stay in the environment for hundreds of years. So inspired by Bahar, could we give plastics a sabbatical? What if we could get small companies or stores to stop making and selling plastic water bottles? Just like some stores ask you to bring your own bags, it would give the damage to our climate a rest and hopefully let some of the natural world regenerate. We know that a rest is an important part of healing, but we cannot take a rest from fighting to save our planet. Everyone needs to do something. I wanted to learn more about the actions being taken within CRC to protect our planet, while also helping those who are less fortunate. Karen Flotty taught me a lot about CRC's Mitzvah farm. The Mitzvah farm grows 1,500 pounds of organic produce a year, and all this is donated to Trinity Food Ministry. These families rely on us to provide fresh food for their families. The trees in the CRC orchard also improve air quality by taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Both the farm and the orchard restore habits for insects, birds, and mammals. When Rabbi Randy shared with me that this year, 5782, is a sabbatical year, I asked if the Mitzvah farm will be taking a sabbatical year. And the answer is yes. One of the main reasons is that the farm is not producing as many vegetables. Observing the sabbatical year is a chance to allow the Mitzvah farm soil to regenerate. Karen also taught me how about using cover crops during the sabbatical year. Cover crops are plants that grow close together and create deeper roots. These roots loosen the soil and let it breathe in oxygen. Studying my Torah portion has given me a lot to think about. I've learned that our ancestors lived very differently than we do. They grew and made everything they needed from the earth and treated it with respect. Our traditions, rituals, holidays, and customs grew out of this relationship with the earth. I love spending time outside, playing with my friends, and playing sports. I love our family trips to the ocean on Cape Cod and to the lakes in Michigan. But learning more about the damage we're doing to the earth has made me realize that I need to be more responsible for protecting our natural world. Not just through my own actions, but also speaking up when I see others who are not doing their part. Like it says in the Torah, the earth is not ours to own. We're just here to care for it, for the next generation, and make sure we don't take more than we need.
Did you see he closed the book like a mic drop? Right? It was like perfect. Hello. Oh, thank you. That's Stan. He takes care of stuff. Wow. See? Come here. No, I'm talking to you. Okay. Come here. You okay? Yeah. All right. You want to drink of water?
Not bad.
All right. Because I want you to feel, refreshed because you just did some amazing stuff up here, Augie. Let's kind of recount it. So sometimes when life kind of goes by real fast, but let's stop for a second because you helped lead the prayer service, and then you chanted right for the Torah scroll. We didn't even explain to everybody that even the Hebrew they were reading is a little more difficult to read than what it looks like in the Torah, right? Why is that?
Because it's handwritten.
Well, yeah, it's right. It's handwritten. There's no vowels. A little bit like having to learn Hebrew twice, right? But you did it, and you allowed us to hear the Torah portion, your Haftorah, and then you brought us this message about the sabbatical year and the Jubilee year. And it was a tremendous teaching, Augie, and I hope everyone learned something. There was so much in there to soak up and soak in. I have to say that Karen Flotty, who Augie mentioned, is right back there, one of the backbenchers of CRC. That's her seat when she comes to services. But if I tell you that Karen was thrilled when you wrote her an email and said, hey, I'd like to learn more about the garden and the sabbatical year, I think that was probably an understatement, right? Yeah, it was more than thrilled and so happy to share with you. And I went with you and Karen, we walked, and your parents, your dad was there, we walked on into the garden, we took a tour, and you kind of soaked it all up and then put it in your teaching, perfectly summed up. I encourage everyone, when you leave here, hopefully the rain will be slower. It looks like it's already slowed. Take a look at what Augie was talking about, the cover crops. So it is true that our mitzvah farm, as we call it, is taking a sabbatical year so that hopefully it'll come back even stronger. But even though we're not planting and actively working on it, there's work to be done so that the sabbatical year is beneficial to the farm. And the cover crops not only are helping heal the earth in our garden, but they're also awesome looking. They're really amazing. We had a campfire. You like campfires? Yeah, I like campfires. We had a campfire, not because we did want to, but we also was part of a Jewish holiday a couple days ago called Lag BaOmer. We had a campfire, and it was right near the garden. And just to see those cover crops, and they're different than when we toured, right? They've grown really high. And just to see them in the firelight and the moonlight was really stunning. So, the word that keeps coming to me as you read your teaching, as we work together on your teaching, it's a pretty modern word, but I think it fits right into this ancient text. And you know this word, we all know this word, sustainability. This is all about making sure that the earth continues. Everything we love about the world and the natural world, if we gobble it up, like you said, there won't be any left. And we want you, your generation, and those your sisters and everyone that comes after you to enjoy the earth, without it getting gobbled up. And then of course, gobbling up stuff, you said, right? And then there's none left for anybody else. If a few people are gobbling up all the stuff, that's not sustainable either, right? To have a few people with tons of stuff and a lot of people with hardly anything, right? So it's all about sustainability, and thank you for bringing it to the front of our minds and our hearts. It's really important. This portion really is one of those portions that feels like it could have been written in the newspaper, but it was, thousands of years ago, inspired by God. So one more thing I want to say about Jubilee. So the Hebrew word for the sabbatical year, remember, is Shemitah, and the Hebrew word for the Jubilee is Yovel, right? And yes, the Jubilee is about this 50th year of making sure that no one gets left behind and we level the playing field. But it's interesting, when they translated Yovel, it came out Jubilee, right? That Latin term. When you think of a Jubilee, without your Torah portion, what comes to your mind?
Happiness, like celebration.
Happiness and celebration, exactly right? Joy. So it's interesting, even this thing where you think people have to make sacrifices in order to have a Jubilee year, they have to give up some of their stuff so it's sustainable. Actually, we're taught it's supposed to be joyful. It's supposed to be a Jubilee, a celebration. And the reason I bring it up, Augie, is because it has been truly joyful. It's been a Jubilee to work with you, to get to know you, your eagerness and your sense of humor and the way you balance sort of, the stuff you love, the sports and hanging out with your friends, with taking this bar mitzvah so seriously and really just wanting to make sure that you do this in a righteous way. It was really wonderful, and it wasn't hard work, it was like a Jubilee, to learn with you, to learn from you, to teach you, to be on this journey with you as you became bar mitzvah. So I'd like to offer you a blessing. I'll put this on. Okay, take that tallis, that really wonderful brand new tallis, and just kind of do that, right? So you can, is it okay? Yeah. So you can feel it, really kind of feel it embracing you and surrounding you, and this moment embracing you, surrounding you, the way that you really led us and taught us. So mazel tov on all that, and the blessing is called shehechianu, for this moment filled with wonder and holiness and meaning. This has been a Jubilee moment for you, but also because of you for all of us. So this is the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed is the Holy One, whose presence fills creation, whose presence definitely filled this space as you became bar mitzvah. The presence, the spirit that gave us our life and that kept us alive and brought us to Lazman Hazeh, this moment of August, Beinfeld, let's say your Hebrew name, Aharon, your bar mitzvah that we all got to witness. And let us say Amen, Amen. And Mazel Tov. You're not done. Wow. So we're so proud of you, Augie, not only everyone here, but your whole congregation. And we have a wonderful member of our board of directors, David Newberger, who is a regular at services, and he is here on behalf of the CRC board to bring you gifts and blessings from the congregation that loves your family so much, CRC. Right there. Shabbat Shalom, David. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. And isn't this a wonderfully accessible congregation?
Amen.
Thank you. So, Augie, you are already teaching what we're trying to teach you. So, we're all a community together. The Central Reform Congregation is proud to present you with this certificate that says that you have become bar mitzvah and that 2 trees have been planted in your honor. 1 tree will be planted in a majority Jewish neighborhood, and the other will be planted in a largely Arab neighborhood. It is hoped that the 2 trees will grow in land filled with justice, and that you will one day see them together and visit the fruits of all that has been planted. So, Mazel Tov, Augie, and let me give you this. Okay. That's something even bigger than a diploma. And then, Augie, we have another present that the congregation gives you, and this is a tzedakah jar. And again, it refers right back to what you've been telling us today, that it is important that we gather, and it is important that we give, and we all live together in a single community, not just the Jewish community, but the whole world. So thank you very much. Thank you, David. Yasher koach. I'll take these. Remember to take these home. And I'm going to not fall off. Yeah, you got it. Thank you, David. Yasher. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, well, you closed your book a little too early, but we can open it up again. You know, you can always open up. It's sort of like, you know, the cycles of the sabbatical, right? One door closes, the other door opens. So we're going to put you right back into the mix here. We are preparing to put the Torah back into the ark. So guess what? Olivia and Eliza, it's your turn again, right? You get two. I guess that kind of makes sense because there's two of you. So come on, and maybe you want to switch doors this time. It's up to you, though. I'm not gonna direct that situation. But you guys open the doors of the ark, and the same cousins that were part of the Aliyah, Ayana and Carly, you're going to come back and help us with the Torah. Well, you guys can stick around. And Augie, everyone is seated, but we're going to bring the Torah up now. So we want to ask them to please
rise.
Yes. Please rise. And on page 30, the words of the proverb, the tree of life. I love it all the time that we call Torah a tree of life because it keeps on growing as we understand it and learn it and kind of study it. But especially the word tree in this portion that is so much about preserving nature and the trees you talked about that Karen told you that are there to kind of try to save the planet, literally. So Torah, a tree of life, especially today. Group hug, of course. Of course. I wouldn't have expected anything else from this group, a group hug. Rhode Island, St. Louis, right? Everyone's included. So we're going to turn now to page 31. Augie and I are going to join you in facing east, facing the ark, facing the direction of hope, of renewal, and together we'll all say the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Tei Gidula L'Yotzer B'Reshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Haratzot, V'lo Samanu K'mishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'gor Aleinu K'chol Hamonam, V'anachnu Korim, U'nishtachavim U'modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Notei Shamayim V'yosef Aretz, U'moshav Nikarov Ha'shamayim Mima'al, U'shkinat Lizo, B'gov Hei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Ein.
Efezulato, Hakatu, Bitorato, Biadata Hayom, Bahashibota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Ima'a, Ve'al Haaretz, Mihitachat, Ein Od, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Please be seated.
Before we kind of wind towards the conclusion of the service, of course, stopping to remember our loved ones who have passed away, those whose shoulders we stand upon. Just know that there's a lot going on at CRC. We're back open. We're doing it with consciousness and everyone's health and safety in our top of our minds. But we've got, I know on the stream, there's some announcements scrolling, and there's adult education classes. There's opportunities to serve and in acts of tikkun olam, of helping repair the world. You can look at our website. Some people get our emails. But I wanted to make sure, since Augie talked about the garden, I don't know, Karen, do you want to, I know that there's some opportunities. Is that?
So on Sunday, May 29th and Sunday, June 5th, it's Memorial Day and Shavuot. We have to plant the next cycle of cover crops to go in. So we'll be gathering from 6 to 8. The ryegrass is spring. We have to go in with heat-tolerant cover crops. Okay, so I'm with the mic on Sunday, May 29th, Memorial Day weekend, and on Shavuot, June 5th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we are gathering to plant the summer cover crops, which will be Sudan grass and sunflowers, and we could use some extra help with that process. 6 to 8 p.m. the next 2 Sundays.
Yeah.
And if you have a weed whacker, bring it.
Yes, Leslie is a big part of that effort as well, and also Lisa Huxley and many, many people who pitch in. And as Augie said, all of the food that's grown in the garden goes to feed people in our neighborhood who are food insecure, whether temporarily or long-term. It's fresh produce. You know, I know people have heard about food deserts, places where it's really hard to get fresh produce. So we're really humbled by that opportunity. So if you can make it with the garden crew, those 2 Sundays, 6 to 8. But we want to make sure that we are honoring our loved ones who came before us. And Augie's going to start it off by some remembrances on behalf of he and his family.
Today we are thinking of and very much missing my Saba, Steve Coburn. Saba felt most connected to his spirituality through nature, family, music, and community. He was an incredible grandfather to Ayana, Carly, myself, Olivia, and Eliza, always ready to play and snuggle. Today, he'd be beaming with happiness and gratitude.
He sure would. May his memory always be a blessing. We want to ask anyone that's here if they'd like to stand and remember a person for the mourner's Kaddish. We want to honor you as a mourner and hear the names of who you're remembering. We're going to ask Howie to share. Your parents, who were in this sanctuary many times for wonderful occasions of bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah and just baby naming, celebration. And they passed away within a week of one another. And how we just hope you know that not only your family, but your community is with you in this path. And we love you, and we're so sorry for your tremendous losses. And we'll be saying Kaddish for them all year, making sure we say their names as you just did, with lots of love. So, Zikro Nam Livracha, may their memories always and forever be a blessing. And please tell your family we're thinking about them as well. Yes, Ray.
My father is full of sweat.
Your father. Boy, I didn't meet him, but it gives me shivers. You know, just think about your dad. So, thank you, Ray. May his memory be a blessing. How many years?
75.
Wow. and still kind of putting his name there front of mind. Thank you. Harriet? And your mother and Ray's father. We're thinking about them. May her memory be a blessing. Thank you. Yes.
Wonderful Josh Porter, who died way too young. Harry Carson, my daughter's wonderful friend, Troy Sutherland, and Renee Deal.
Thank you. May their memories be a blessing. Andrew, did you have a name? Want to make sure? Okay. So, did I miss anybody? I'm sorry. So let's all stand together then with our mourners. Want to read some additional names of people we're remembering as a community, including this weekend the yard sites of Edward Arnold and Terry Fishbein, of Herman Graham and Letty Korn, Kathy Lass's sister. My friend Alan's mom was Letty. Lawrence Kottner, Sr., father of Larry Kottner. Charlene Levin and Betty Manlin, Mark Katzman's grandmother. We're remembering, Harriet's mother, there she is, Florence. And Carol Flotkin, Molly Frolickstein, Morris Greenbaum, and Sal Stetton, who was Myra Levine's father and Scott Levine's grandfather, and a hero of labor rights to the very end, literally. Seymour Frauenglass, Bobby's father, and Harold Hyman, Mort's father. Lawrence Padower, Jerry Padower's father. Jerry's often here with us on Saturday mornings. And Hermine Cohn Rubman, Sarah Ann Patz's and Andrew Triver's aunt. And then our recent losses include Alice Handelman, Karen's mother, and really a giant in the community of journalism in the Jewish community in St. Louis. Betty Renee Marver, a CRC member and known to many. Josh Porter, Nina Balsam, George Newman, Robert Wolfsey, and as Howie said, Francis and Martin Ilovicki. We're remembering Barbara Woodruff and Renee Deal, James Bachhock and Al Baker, Florine Zimmerman, and Mimi Davidson. And remembering our members, Shirley Patisha and Art Lash, Susan Carlson, Pat Denlow, Kyle Courier, Sam Nussbaum and Linda Holtzman, Karen Margot and Judge Roberta Hitt and Andy Neiman, and Ed Lander, Vicky's father, also Raphael Berger, Mike Berger's father. And I want to add to those names, each name a world, each name filled with people who loved them and people they loved. But also we're remembering the people who were killed in the awful shooting in Buffalo, the racially motivated white supremacist killing that just, I know, sickens all of us and terrifies everyone. So I want to read their names as well. Those killed in Buffalo just a week ago were Roberta Drury and Margus Morrison and Andre McNeil and Aaron Salter and Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Hayward Patterson, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, and Ruth Whitfield. May all of those we've named and all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, the million in this country who have died from COVID and worldwide, millions of people, we remember them all in the Jewish way with the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 33 for all of them. Their memory should always be a blessing. We say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalal v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudesha barichu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlam Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimroma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru Amen.
Oh, say shalom b'roma, Huya say shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen.
Amen. And remembering your nephew, Rabbi Susan, Garrett, Cherry Pie, and your brother, Lisa, and these pictures of your grandpa, Augie, are just precious. We remember them all, and we say together, Amen. And now, please be seated just for a moment. We have more blessings for you, Augie. And these blessings are going to be courtesy of your mom and dad. So Allison and Ben come up to give blessings and words of pride to your son, August. Augie. Does anyone call you August?
I do.
Okay, good. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks.
All right. All right. August, my firstborn, my amazing, kind, hilarious son. In the weeks leading up to this moment, I've been thinking a lot about that magical time when you entered our lives, and Dad and I spent countless hours just staring at you in our tiny Brooklyn apartment. One of your most defining qualities in those early years was your dive-in, head-first mentality. I mean, let's be real here. Those first few months, your enthusiasm for life was singularly focused on eating and sleeping. I've still never seen a human inhale mashed up sweet potatoes like you. But everywhere we went, people were just drawn to you because you approached everything with such exuberance. You were unabashedly joyful and would literally smile with your whole face. A huge open grin and eyes full of sparkle, and you were always in motion. I recently found this journal entry from May 2009, so exactly 13 years ago, when you were just 7 months old. The day has come. You are mobile. To say you're euphoric about your newly discovered skill is an understatement. You laugh and shriek every time you're on the move. Your favorite destinations are all dangerous, of course. You love the computer cords and outlets under the desk and spinning the dirty wheels of your stroller. You speed crawl through the apartment and stop to bang on the wall, pull up on the cabinets, open drawers, empty contents of drawers, pound on your toy piano with some balls, and investigate the vacuum cleaner hose. And Augie, you haven't stopped moving since. From speed crawling to running from Dad in hundreds of games of chase, to zooming around on your scooter along the bumpy sidewalks of Park Slope, to your delight in being pummeled by waves while boogie boarding and being pummeled on the ice rink during hockey games. Sitting still has never been your thing, Augie Beinfeld, and my wish for you is to harness that innate quality and be a young adult of action. Not sitting still, of course, will mean travel and new experiences and big adventures, but it will also mean standing up and fighting for others when you see injustice. You have a huge heart and incredible empathy. You feel deeply, whether it's for a friend who is struggling, or a homeless person in the park, or coming to terms with the most painful parts of our Jewish history when reading about the Holocaust. You will always listen, give a hug, and be willing to say sorry, even if you didn't start it. Your kindness and ability to connect to others is a gift for all of us who are lucky enough to be part of your life. My wish for you, above all else, is to keep being who you are. I know this stage of life can at times be disorienting, swimming in that middle ground between childhood and adulthood. but Dad and I have such confidence in you and all that you will continue to bring to the world. So my words of wisdom to you on this celebratory day: don't be afraid to take a risk as long as it's legal, even if there's a chance you won't succeed. Some of the greatest learning comes from failed attempts. Or to quote one of your idols, Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Keep questioning even when the answers don't come easily. Challenge yourself even when it's outside your comfort zone. And in honor of my dad, your Saba, live life in real life. Reach for a book, a ball, or a friend instead of an iPhone whenever you can. I promise you it will make you feel more fulfilled, more connected, and more alive. Earlier in the service, you were part of CRC's tradition of passing the Torah from generation to generation. And I want to remind you that we have our own family tradition of passing this baseball glove from generation to generation, first given by your great-grandfather to Uncle when he was born, and Uncle in turn gave it to you at your baby naming, along with a note to read on your bar mitzvah day. It's a beautiful letter, which you can read fully sometime this weekend, but I wanted to share just a piece of it here. Dear August, by the time you read this, your cherished, chubby cheeks will have become chiseled, and your drool will have dissipated, but I will love you just the same. You are only 6 months old, but have already given many blessings to many people without even knowing it. In this blessing that I give to you, I urge you to keep giving love and joy to others, because by giving, you will get all that you need. I pass on this baseball glove to you in honor of the original AP for whom you were named. Your great-grandfather would have loved you endlessly, as we all do. Take this glove and catch all that life has to offer. We will always be there to cheer you on. So in closing, August, you now have a connection with all those who have been bar or bat mitzvahed before you and all those who will come after you, not just in our family, but in the Jewish community across the world. Treasure that connection, be proud of it, and be proud of yourself. Dad and I love you so much. Mazel tov.
Augie, we're finally here, and we're doing this. Your mom and I could not be more proud. You have put in a lot of work, and it really shows. For all those times where you powered through the Hebrew lessons, you can now lean back and relax. For rabbinic school, preparation doesn't start until next year. It's a lot, I know, but hoping you can take in some of the significance of this day, of this moment, of all the family and friends that are here in your corner. Today marks a rite of passage, a moment in time where we pause to celebrate you and the terrific young man that you are. Zadie used to say to me, someday you'll be a father and you'll understand. Zadie, that is so true. Of course, I had no idea what you were talking about at the time. So Augie, I'm excited to know at least some of the things I say might actually stick in the long run. Augie, as parents, we can't help but reflect on all the many moments that bring us to this day. We've had a special vantage point. You came into this world at just the right time. It was 2008, and your mom and I were ready to move on from our self-involved, young-ish adulthood and form our own hip, stylish Brooklyn family. You heard the story of how your mom, always so clever and funny, announced she was pregnant with you by leaving out a St. Louis Blues onesie for me to find coming home from work one night. I remember clear that feeling of leaving NYU Hospital with all 7 pounds of you strapped into the car seat and thinking, wow, this just got real. This little fella's coming home with us. Flash forward a few years and we make our way back to the homeland, University City. You are almost 3, and upon seeing our backyard for the first time, you famously declared, look, Dad, there's a park. Or later, when you experienced the holiday traditions of close friends and neighbors, the Cocos, you declared, Dad, I know we're Jewish, but I'm a little Christmas too. Welcome to the Midwest, son. Your world was further rocked with the arrival of sisters. For a certain time, to you, they were a singular block, a unit, simply known as sisters. It was a curious development for then an only child, but you quickly owned the role of protective big brother, which continues on to today. You may not believe me when I say I see a lot of myself in you and always have. We are chips off the old block, two peas in the pod, cut from the same cloth, and we share a deep bond. Like you, I was always in motion kid as well, and some things never change. You know, part of being a parent is becoming that kid again, and for me, with you, that has been tremendous fun. You've said to me on multiple occasions that I'm one of the fun dads, and I hope to live up to that standard as long as I can. We've had great adventures together from the Brooklyn days, seeking out the action of excavators or diggers, as we call them, from road trips to ice hockey tournaments to your first rock concert, Iron Maiden, Gold Star parenting, thank you, to learn how to fish, playing 1v1 basketball, and generally just bumming around as pals every day. But you're not a kid anymore, and that's both exciting and a little intimidating for all of us. You're our firstborn, our canary in the coal mine. You have shown us that it's gonna be okay. You've talked about some big goals, starting a small forward for the LA Lakers, making your fortune trading Bitcoin, and attending NYU for college. Can you accomplish those things? Of course. But from what I hear, NYU has really gotten hard to get into. So I might suggest Colby or Indiana as your safety schools. Augie, you have some real gifts and some great qualities that will serve you well in life. Your compassion for others, your need to call out and address injustice and inequity. You stand up for the little guy, and you don't abide bullies. Your positive energy is like a magnet that draws people to you. You're comfortable with sharing emotions and okay with being vulnerable. How you advocate for yourself and are not shy to question why are things the way they are and why things can't be different, better, and more just. So in closing, Augie, keep doing what you're doing. Keep questioning and challenging yourself and others. Reach for those goals and put in the effort for which you will be rewarded. You make us very proud, and we love you very much. Mazel tov.
Olivia, Eliza, join your family up here. Rabbi Daniel. Actually, Augie, you got one more time to tell everyone that is seated that they should please
rise.
So we take a moment for the sweetness of a little bit of wine or grape juice, I think is probably in here. You know, I was so impressed with you, though I knew I was going to be amazed as soon as I saw that you had Jimi Hendrix in your siddur, really. No, I'm so amazed. I'm so impressed. And what a mensch you are just radiates from you. So we say it together one more time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. And you should take a sip.
What is it? Yeah.
It's grape juice.
Grape juice. L'chaim. That's the sweet stuff. And this challah, was this hold up the challah tray, just like that. It represents all that we have to share with one another in the spirit of the sabbatical year and the Jubilee year. I know that there's a oneg room. We'll have food for people who want to have a after service snack, and I think there'll be grape juice out there as well, so you could have your own kiddush. But first we make a blessing for gratitude for everything that we've learned and experienced and shared today because of Augie and this service. So let's make the blessing as we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Augie, you want a bite? Take a bite.
Sure.
Would you like to share with your sisters? This is a test. Okay, good. See, he is a bar mitzvah mensch. And the last thing that we do before we leave each other's company in this place is, he's giving everybody a piece. That's great. You're good. Awesome. So we're going to put our arms around each other. That's it. Put our arms around each other, around our newest bar mitzvah, August. This blessing is an ancient blessing from the same Torah that Augie chanted from.
Yeah.
But we also use it to make sure we leave each other with words of peace and love. So take it all in, Augie. This is your bar mitzvah scene. And we want to make blessings. One more blessing as we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May we each take a little bit of the light that I think we felt from you today, Augie, and bring it out into the world.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the peace and wholeness we felt from Augie, his leading and his teaching, from the music, courtesy of Leslie and Andrew and Rabbi Daniel, and I believe these are flowers from Vicki Lander, who just loves CRC, and her own grandson had a bar mitzvah a couple of weeks ago, and so lots of peace, even with a thunderstorm. We outlasted it, right? Kind of metaphorical. We'll go into it later, but may there be much peace in all of your hearts and in your homes, your communities, the neighborhoods you live in, and ultimately we hope and pray that this holy moment is going to make more peace, more shalom in the whole world as we say amen. And Shabbat shalom. And Mazel Tov to Augie.